Right then guys, welcome back to another video and a complete change of location. Before we start guys, if you want to join the school community, the link will be below. It's $49 per month or £38 roughly, I think. We've got over 400 guys in there now. The community's thriving. I'm loving it. We've just added the old body language course, which was like 3 hours long, cost me £3,000 to make. The value in that course is unbelievable. A lot of the 1M house guys are in there too. So if you're in there, you're going to get heavy discount on all the products. When I release my clothing line, there's a trench coat. You'll get about £100 off if you're in the school community. The supplements, you'll get about £10 off per month. And there's going to be so many benefits to being in that community. So come and join us, guys. We're doing live calls all the time. We did one this morning. And the video idea that I'm about to tell you now, we actually got this from a discussion that we had on Saturday, I believe, or Friday. Yeah, I think it was Saturday. On Saturday night, we actually had this discussion. Now, do you guys want to see? 1M house. Ooh, how much can I show you? It looks pretty cool, right? It looks good. So the topic of discussion, guys, I want to talk about this. Basically, somebody on school asked me, they were basically talking about they're in a position in life, and I've been here too. This is why it's such a good topic. I've been in this exact spot. So they said to me, I recently broke up with my girlfriend. They said I'm trying to get this is the kicker. This is the line. They said I'm trying to get back to how things were. And they said, what can I do? They said, I'm starting to get motivated again. I'm going to the gym. I'm, trying to stay locked in, but I'm trying to find the next her. And I'm trying to put things back to the way they were. And I said, right. I was like, stop there, because I've been there. I've been in the exact same spot. And I didn't really realize it until I was walking around London with my ex-girlfriend and my dog. And I remember that she was on about her sister. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's too personal, but her sister she was like, I hope she's happier again soon because something happened in her life. And she said, you obviously like lost your dad and stuff. So I'm just swatting flies away. She said, you obviously lost your dad. Like, when did you go back to normal again? And I was like, it's funny you say that. I was like, because I never did. And I had to teach her a life lesson. I was like, tell your sister from me. I was like, sounds sad, but you just never return. I was like, you never go back to who you were before, and you don't really want to. So I was like, the less happy, the less smiley version of you is gone. Because, and it's as sad as that sounds, you're no longer wet behind the ears. You're no longer that greenhorn. And you start to see the world for what it really is. So let's say you've got a girlfriend and you're together for like 2 years and you're in this fairy tale land from like 18 to 20. Let's say she cheats on you, breaks your heart, and she disappears, right? You're sat there and you're like, the real me will come back soon. Like, I'll be happier soon. I'll get my energy back. I'll be able to love again and stuff like that. No, you shouldn't want that. You should sit there and go, I've just been exposed to the world. The world has just shown me how nasty it really can be. The fairy tale Disney lifestyle that I was living is gone. That version of me is never coming back. You need to embrace that, and you need to realize, guess what? That guy never comes back. That guy just evolves from that point. That guy just moves forward and becomes better and now sees the world as it should be. And it's really sad, but I had it when I was younger. I was like, I can't wait to be that 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid again who just went out, had a few drinks, was smiling all the time, was always happy. It doesn't return. It returns in other ways where like you're happy about maybe you've just had a child, or you're happy about a relationship in a different way. You're like, this is really what I need moving forward. But it's a more mature, realistic standard. It's not puppy dog eyes. It's not loved up. It's not, we're going to be together forever and we're going to do all this shit. And it doesn't even have to be a relationship. It can be, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to make millions. And by year 3, you're like, I want to commit suicide. This is fucking awful. Embrace it. Enjoy it. Because that old version of you that was wet behind the ears, that was a life novice, that knew nothing, that thought life was a fairy tale, that thought it was easy, that thought they were going to meet the perfect woman on the first try. That was me. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I found the perfect woman on the first try. I'm so lucky. I think I even said those words to her. And she was like, I know, it's crazy. I've only had like 2 boyfriends and I found a great one. Like, we literally thought we were going to be together forever. 90% of relationships before 30 end, okay? They get together before 30, they end. That's life. With entrepreneurship, I was like calculating figures, and I think it was a fly on my head, right? I was calculating figures and I was like, oh, times this by 12, how much? Wow, I'm going to be making like 2 million a year and stuff. And it's like, what are you talking about? It's going to be a massive struggle the whole way through. It's going to be brutal. And people try and make it seem easy. And it's like, because you're wet behind the ears, because you're a greenhorn, because you're this novice, because you're this rookie, you just got this Disneyfied version of the world. You think this is how the world operates. It's easy. It's going to be a piece of piss. I'm going to be able to cruise to the finishing line. I found the perfect woman on the first try. It's like, no, it's hard. It's hard and it will break you down over time. And once you're exposed to how the world really is, you should be grateful because, like I said, you never return. And then it sets you on the path to like, okay, life begins today. I've arrived. I've actually been exposed to all of this. I'm not thinking in the same way again. Like you think at school, the best thing to do is to have as many friends as possible and everyone supports you and everybody loves you. Then as time goes on, you're like, oh, actually, this sucks. That person's been talking shit about me. Having loads of friends is actually a bit of a nightmare because they don't get on, they don't get on. And as you get older, you realize that that person let you down. That guy tried to sleep with your girlfriend. That guy was slagging you off behind your back. And you're like, oh, I don't need a lot of friends. And then you go, oh, when will the old me return? When will the happy, I've got loads of friends, I'm always smiling return? They don't. And you should be grateful of that. You should embrace it because here's what was happening. And I want you guys to take this away. This is more the main part of the video, so I want you guys to take this away with you. Somebody was protecting you, or multiple things or people were protecting you in life. So the reason you're not aware of what I'm teaching you right now, and you're thinking, oh, I want to return to the old me, the reason you don't is because the world was always like this. It was never different. It was always brutal. Somebody was always going to break your heart. It was always going to be difficult. Business was always going to be tough. Who was protecting you were your parents, your mum, your dad. It might have been an older brother or an older sister. It might have been an older cousin. School protect you. I'll give you an example. As a dad, you're not going to come home and go, kids, like, oh, dad, welcome home. Like, brilliant to have you back. You're not going to sit down at the dinner table and go, I've got something to tell you. I've lost my job. I think we're going to have to sell the house. It's going to be fucking awful. Your toys, they're gone. Your PlayStation, going to have to sell that. We've got no money. It's going to be a nightmare of a situation. I want you to go to bed tonight and panic and worry and stress. And I want you to wake up in the morning crying. And that's what I want you guys to do. You're not going to do that as a dad, are you? You're going to come home. You're going to give him a big cuddle. And you're going to go, it's okay. Like, oh, I love you. How was school? Really, you don't give a fuck. You're thinking to yourself, I've just lost my job. Like, I'm in serious shit street here. You sit down with the wife when the kids have gone to bed. You sit at the table, you crunch some numbers, and you go, "What are we going to do, babe? Like, we have to figure this out. I guess I'll just go and get a job at a factory or something. Like, we'll make it through." But you don't tell the kids. Do you see that? The kids, like, you go on holiday, and the kids all I knew as a kid was the holiday itself. Like, we're going to sit on the beach, we're going to enjoy ourselves. I didn't have to worry about getting the boarding pass or like the passports and stuff like that. I didn't have to worry about packing. My mum would do all that for me. You just assumed that the cases would just magically appear at the bottom of the stairs, ready to go. Like, you didn't realize you had to get there 2 hours before. Like, your dad would do all that for you. The research of the hotel, is it safe? What's the area like for kids? You didn't realize you had to do all that. Your life was being sheltered. You didn't realize, I'm getting absolutely attacked here. You didn't realize that life was more difficult than what it actually appeared. And then when you go to school teachers aren't going to tell you the severity of the school's financial issues. They're not going to bring that up. They're going to tell the parents. All the kid knows is like, I turn up every day, I go to class. Like, they don't know that teacher's just gone through a breakup and stuff like that. They just turn up, have fun, smile, laugh. Like, I look back on my time at school and I didn't really know what was going on. You'd give teachers some grief. You'd give them some shit one day and they would go, do you know what, Chris? Get out of my class. And you'd be thinking to yourself, what's the matter with him today? Or what's the matter with her? Like, why are they being so annoying? You don't know that they haven't got financial issues. You don't know that they haven't got like £100 left in their account and you're giving them shit today and they're just like, what the fuck am I doing here? I need a better job. Or they've just broken up with their long-term girlfriend or boyfriend. You don't see all that as a kid. You don't have to deal with all these problems. So I'll tell you what, you don't have to deal with fly problems. There we go, there's one. You don't have to deal with all of this shit. You just have to just wake up and other people are doing stuff for you. They protect you. They keep you very, very sheltered. And It's not until you go through something like that, you have your first heartbreak, you lose your first job, or you go into financial debt for the first time and you have to deal with all this stuff. You realize, oh, the world's difficult, the world's tough, it's brutal, it's unforgiving. Like somebody, you could be in love with a girl for years, think she's the one, you're going to get married, and she just cheats with another guy for 2 hours on a random Saturday night. And she didn't even know him. She just thought, oh, this is going to be fun. And you're like, I don't even know you anymore. And then you just have this feeling where you just go, the world is now different to me. I don't trust people like I used to. I just see it completely differently to how I did before. She was this like pretty princess that brought everything to my life. She was unbelievable. She ticked every single box. She's the nicest human ever. Oh, now she's the devil. Now she's disgusting and I hate her. And it's like, where did that come from? Why did that change so quickly? And that's why you guys never want to return, because it made you more experienced. It made you more intelligent. It made you more aware. It made you sharper. It made you, like I said, less wet behind the ears. You weren't born yesterday. And the guy on the school call was asking me, like, how do I get back to who I was before? And I was like, you don't. You never return. You never go back. This is who you are now, moving forward in life. Life shapes us. Events shape us. Dramatic things. Like, I lost my dad and my best friend. I'm not saying they're the same person. I lost my best friend when I was 18. And I lost my dad when he was 59. I was 28. And people are just like, I mean, there's that Tommy Shelby thing. Do you remember? They were like, what was Tommy like before the war? And it was like, oh, he laughed, he smiled a lot more. Now he's a lot more serious. That's life. That's for all of you. Like, what your war is your life. That is you climbing up through the ranks as a man. And people will say stuff like that to me. They'll be like, oh, you used to do more fun things. You used to laugh a lot more. You weren't so serious. Now you're all business. And it's like, yeah, but I have to. If I didn't, imagine where I'd be. Imagine the shit show that I'd be in. If, you led in bed with a girl that you used to sleep with, and she's like, oh, you get up early now. You used to just lie in bed and chill and relax. You're like, yeah, well, I have to be like this now. I have to up my game. I have to go to the next level. Otherwise, if I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? My kids aren't going to do it. My future wife's probably not going to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's going to have to be somebody that takes those reins, and you got to stop being the goofy guy. You got to stop looking at everything with like rose-tinted glasses and smiley eyes, and you have this like gooey look on your face as a young man. This starts to drop. This shit starts to happen. When you're young, you're like that. You're like, hey, how you doing? Everything just gets a little bit tougher, and you can see it on someone's face. You're like, he's been through some wars. He's been through some shit. You never want to return, guys. I'm telling you, you never want to go back. So if you're going through something right now, if your life is like changed dramatically, and you're currently sat there thinking, I wish things were the way they used to be when I was in school. I wish things were the way they were last summer when we were all, having some drinks and partying. It was fun back then. I wish things were back the way they were when I was with that girlfriend and, my life was better back then. Fuck all that. You got to move forward. You got to move on. Oh, I'm not as happy anymore. I don't smile as much. I feel more depressed. Well, guess what? That's called adulthood. And it's not that you're going to be low forever. You're going to have highs, but you're going to have different types of highs. It's going to be very, like this morning, I've had a great day this morning. I've woken up, I've been to the gym, I've hit the sauna. I've had an amazing morning, but I've had 2 or 3 emails come in where I'm like, oh, fuck. I got to deal with that shit. It doesn't ruin my day anymore. I just deal with it because I'm used to it. But I'm like, right, you better get that done. You better get serious. I can't be fucking around. It's like, yeah, I'm at 1M house. I've got guys here and we can talk and we can laugh and whatnot. But when crunch time comes, it's like, I've got to lock in. Yeah, I'm at the house. I'm in Granada. Oh, let's go and enjoy ourselves. Let's jump in the car and have a little drive around. It's like, no, right now I've got to lock in. I've got to get serious. I've got to focus. Doesn't matter whether I'm here, London, or my hometown. I've got to lock in. I've got to get my shit done. There's no excuses. And if you don't carry that mentality through life, you're just going to get ripped apart. If you're constantly looking for you see these guys, right? You see them so many times in your life. They'll go through a breakup. She'll cheat on him, she'll burn his heart, and he's like crying, he's trying to get over it, he's really struggling and whatnot, and you're like, oh mate, it'll be okay, there's plenty more fish in the sea. You don't mean like that night. Do you know what I mean? He goes and meets another girl and he's like, oh, I think I'm in love with her now, like she's just so good for me, and he just does it on repeat, and he keeps getting hurt, he keeps getting burnt. Every single 6 months he's in a new relationship, and then before he knows where he is, he's married to this girl that he doesn't even find attractive. And that's just a comfort seeker. That is a guy who's trying to live in the past. Now, is there anything wrong with that? If he's happy, probably not. But I feel as though he's sheltering himself from growth. I think he's being sheltered from like parents, school. He's doing it to himself. He's just putting barriers up around him. I embrace it. Like, give me the punches. Whack me. Let me take those punches, because I think who I'm going to become off the back of that, who it's going to harden me into, who I'm going to grow into off the back of that, is just going to change the game. I'm going to become a better man. I'm going to, become bigger than my problems. I'm going to evolve and I'm going to go to the next level. And I never want to be that naive guy that's like, she broke my heart, but I'm going to treat the next one even better. And then that's going to, she's going to love me. Or this happened in business and this supplier fucked me over. The next supplier is going to be great. And it's like, no, you got to just tread carefully then. You got to move like an assassin. You got to be like, do you know what? I'm not getting fucked over again. Do you know what? I'm not getting cheated on again. Do you know what? I'm not putting like my life in somebody else's hands. I'm not putting responsibility of my life in anybody else's hands. I'm not even letting somebody drive me to work, because now you've got power over me. You get to that point in life. Like when you're young, you're like, yeah, we'll do it together. We'll go and fly out to Australia and go and get a job and it'll be amazing. And then your friend goes and like meets a girl and gets a different job and starts talking like he's more ambitious now. He's like, well, working in this factory and just getting drunk every evening, I don't really want to do it anymore. And you're like, oh, he's let me down. We're not friends. You've got to just take care of number one at all times. And that's what I mean. You can't go backwards, because you never will. Those good times aren't coming back. There's other good times. You'll enjoy yourself in other ways. You'll be at a rooftop bar, dressed really well with a sophisticated woman sipping on a red wine. And you'll be like, yeah, I'm in a different world now. But you'll never go back to like, oh, I want to be as happy as I was at school when I had that girlfriend. My life was amazing back then. You just got to keep going, because it's like it will never return. You were being sheltered. You were being protected. Your ears were being protected. Your eyes were being protected. Your heart was being protected. You don't get that now. You don't get that as you find out about life and you start moving forward. You see the world for what it really is. You hear what's actually going on. You hear those whispers. They become loud and clear. They become shouts and screams. Your heart just goes black and you start seeing things for what they are. And that's why I break a lot of things down logically. I can let love in the future when I've got kids and whatnot. But for the time being, you've got to be very logical. You've got to be methodical. You've got to be very cutthroat. Otherwise, once you get revealed to this world, if you stay in that puppy dog mindset and you stay as that little boy, you're gonna get walked all over by everybody. So that's my lesson of the day, guys. Remember, you don't go back. You become harder. Mentally, physically, in your heart gets stronger, all these things, and you never go back. You just move forward as the man you've become. These things leave scars all over you. You just can't see them. It changes who you are. So I hope that helped, guys. Hope to see more of you in the school community. We're going to cap it at 1,000 people. So not many more spaces left. And I'm going to up the price very soon as well, guys. Maybe at the end of the month, or I'll let you know. It won't be much longer, but we're going to up the price to maybe like $65 instead of $49. So it's definitely going to go up. But I'll speak to you guys soon. Have a good one.